that. Like it's washing away our yard.
Tell me the address.
505 West Woodlawn.
Okay. Um, and so the storm drain, what is happening with it?
It's disintegrated.
Okay.
Helene knocked a bunch of
Helene didn't
stuff
help.
into it, but it was already bad before that.
Okay.
They did come and clean it out, which has helped a little bit, but like our basement is still flooding if we get any significant amount of rain.
So somebody from the city did come out and look at it?
And it's on the, I guess it's on the schedule, but they can't really tell us when it's going to be fixed. And right now we have like a gap about this big from where our
Craig, you got their number? Okay.
yeah, we just want to get it taken care of before before it causes more damage.
Yeah, well, at least we want to have some sunshine here for a few days.
Well, it's because it's starting to wash away the post for our fence.
Okay.
And the bank's eroding.
I will look into it and get back in touch with you. Okay.
Okay.
Thank y'all so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, just one more chance before we close out the public powwow. Thank for the Hortons for being here. Tom Wright's already left. Anybody else? If not, we're going to close out the powwow and come back right at 6 o'clock. All right, thank y'all. Good evening. I'd like to call the City of North Augusta City Council meeting for June the 2nd, 2025 to order. You are welcome to join me in prayer. Dear God, we continue to ask for your guidance. We ask that you will give us discernment to make the best decisions for the citizens of North Augusta. We ask for your blessings as we strive to honor you in our roles as elected officials. Amen. If you're able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, great to see everybody. Another great turnout. Okay, start roll call starting from my left.
John Fulak.
Robert Freitas.
Pat Carpenter.
Britton Williams.
Kevin Toole.
David Buck.
Dennis Briatico.
Very good. Approval of minutes. Are there any corrections, deletions, or additions to the regular city council meeting minutes of May 19th, 2025? The special call city council meeting minutes of May 27th, 2025, or the special call study session minutes of May 27, 2025? All right, hearing none, they stand approved as distributed. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to ask this young lady, Miss Elizabeth Hawkins, to meet me out in front of the dais. How are you? So the first time you were here, I met you about 4 years ago, and if I'm not mistaken, you were at Clemson?
Oh, yeah, I'm at Clemson.
You said Clemson?
Almost, this semester I should hopefully be graduating.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so and we missed you last year. We're glad you're with us. So let me tell you what we've got here. A proclamation. Whereas scoliosis, the abnormal curvature of the spine, is a condition which affects an estimated 6 to 9 million people in the United States. And whereas primary onset of scoliosis is between ages 10 to 15, with females being 5 times more likely to require treatment, as scoliosis can cause pain, reduce respiratory function, and limited mobility in otherwise healthy children. And approximately 1 in 6 children diagnosed with the disease will eventually require active medical treatment. And whereas screening programs allow for early detection and for treatment opportunities which may alleviate the worst effects of the condition, which is no known cause or cure. And whereas raising public awareness of scoliosis is vital, helping children, parents, and healthcare providers understand, diagnose, and treat this disease and reduce the pain and suffering of those it affects. Now, therefore, I, Britton S. Williams, Mayor of the City of North Augusta, South Carolina, do hereby proclaim June 2025 the Scoliosis Early Detection Awareness Month. And witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of North Augusta, South Carolina, to be affixed the second day of June 2025. Now, if I'm not mistaken, when you went to Clemson, you began a chapter in Clemson, right?
No, I was involved. Mm-hmm.
Very good. This is a chance. Anything you want to share about?
It's very important to get scanned very early. It makes a huge difference from bracing to surgery. It's a lot. So thank you for listening.
I'm going to ask an ignorant question. So you talk about scanning early with children. Is that something that the family pediatricians recommend? Is that something the family has to say, hey, here are some concerns we have? Or does that just come out through normal check?
So originally back in like a long time ago, it used to be mandatory in schools, but we lost that. So it just has to be like, I found out just randomly, but in some other states it's more prevalent. It's more known to check early, and I just haven't have to happen to got it checked early, and I got a good result.
Very good. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you very much. All right, Miss Carolyn Dixon, come on down here. I know Gene Timmons is going to stay up there and take pictures, so. How are you? Okay. This proclamation says, whereas gardeners have a passion for nurturing the beauty and resources of the earth through the planting of seeds, the care of all plants, and the riches of their efforts, and whereas gardeners work to preserve our country's traditional spirit of independence and initiative through innovation and hard work, and whereas gardeners advocate the importance of all creatures sharing our world and their roles in a balanced and productive ecology, and whereas gardening serves as a challenging and productive activity for all citizens, those just learning as well as those having years of experience, and whereas gardening promotes a healthy lifestyle that lasts a lifetime, helps reduce stress from other areas of our life, and teaches that rewards come from diligent efforts. And whereas the North Augusta Council of Gardening Clubs enriches our city by maintaining Billy's Butterfly Garden, which is absolutely fantastic, provides a scholarship for a North Augusta area high school senior, and sponsors campers for Camp Wildwood. Now, therefore, I, Britton S. Williams, Mayor of the City of North Augusta, South Carolina, do hereby proclaim the week of June 1 through 7, 2025 as National Gardening Week. Now, if you have not seen it, there's an incredible arrangement. So when y'all leave tonight, you go out the elevator. When you first go out the elevator, you're going to walk right past it. On the right, there's this beautiful display. I'm going to let you tell about it. You got camellias, a whole thing. Tell about that display.
Those are dogwoods,
microphone.
actually. Dogwoods. Karen Oliver, a member of Carolina Hills Garden Club, our president is sitting right there for Carolina Hills. She did the entire display, the arrangements and all the informational thing. It's a memorial to two of their members that have passed, and it is astounding. It's beautiful. She is very talented.
So I'm just curious, people may not know how many, I know there was 3 at one time. I know you have the council, but all the garden clubs have they all rolled into the garden council, or do we still have actual individual clubs?
We have individual clubs.
How many are there? 5? 4? 4 now.
And we have, as involved as that, they are members of the council.
Right.
So they're about 65
Yep.
members.
So here's my little history bit. So I hear all the time on social media, people say, I moved to North Augusta. Help me find. Okay. So here's all the social media sites. What y'all need to be promoting is you got on the Arts and Heritage Center. Every citizen ought to have 2 books. This is the History of North Augusta, Volume 2, and there's a Volume 1. And on page 110 is about, y'all got more pages. There's about 20 pages, but seriously, about 5 pages about the gardening clubs, okay? So if you want to know about North Augusta, you need this book, and you can buy it at the Arts and Heritage Center, which is the bottom of our municipal center. So, Carolyn, here.
Our earliest garden club, Terrace Garden Club, was
For-
the earliest one in 1937.
1937, okay. So, all right, that's been a way. So here's your proclamation. We did 4 of those other ones, as you know, to give the other 4 clubs. And, I still got my, y'all gave me I've got my lifetime membership card. All right, okay.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
Let's give a round of applause. Thank you. Now we got to get serious. All right. New business. Administration. Ordinance number 2025-11, amending section 12-21-9 related to hours for construction work. Do I have a motion to approve this ordinance on first reading? Ms. Carpenter, is there a second? All right, Mr. Freitas, thank you, sir. Anything you'd like to share about this, Mr. Clifford?
So, Mr. Mayor and Council, this was a robust discussion last week. And so ultimately, the feeling that the staff had based on the information we got from the dais was to maintain the resolution that it was presented, which means we have the normal work hours Monday through Friday, but that Saturday, no work hours on Sunday, but Saturday would be 9 to 5 work hours. That seemed to be the quorum guidance from the dais, and so that is the way the resolution is presented for your consideration this evening.
Okay, very good. Are there any citizen comments? Okay. Any council discussion? Everybody? Dennis?
I'm good with approving this as it is for now, but I just want us all to keep an open mind. Going forward, if we get any feedback on this, this doesn't really give workers a lunch hour if they work an 8-hour day. It's only 8 hours, period. So I'm good with it, but let's just keep an open mind with this one going forward.
Yep. Very good. Okay, and I'm going to ask for a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, item 7, Planning and Development, Resolution number 2025-16 to adopt the Georgia Avenue Traffic Calming and Pedestrian Access Study. Do we have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
All right, Mr. Toole, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, Mr. Buck, thank you. Anything you'd like to share about this, Mr. Clifford?
Again, Mr. Mayor and Council, this was pretty well discussed in the study session, but for the folks that are watching online or in the room today, a couple things just for their edification. One is that this resolution, unlike the Kimley Horn traffic study itself, delineates 2 phases of this Georgia Avenue traffic calming project. So the first phase is essentially everything except for what's directly in front of Lookaway Inn, and then you've got the second phase of that, which is there at the intersection of Georgia, Carolina, and Jackson. So what we're talking about for future council actions really revolve around phase 1. So the straight line portion of Georgia Avenue is what we're really going to be focusing on, mostly because we have a solid engineering plan, and we also have a financing plan for those aspects of phase 1. Phase 2 is still in conceptual phase and does not have a resourcing tail applied to that as of yet. So for now, we're just going to be content to move forward on phase 1. And so what you have before you is the traffic calming and pedestrian access study, and by this resolution is you adopt this as the city council's in receipt of this information. It does not bind you to do anything within the traffic study. You'll have to take separate council actions to move forward on those. This just says, hey, we paid for a traffic study and we are in receipt of the traffic study.
Okay. Very good. Are there any citizen comments? Any council discussion?
Just out of curiosity, Mr. Clifford, what did the study cost the city?
I'd have to go back and get that information for you, Councilman, but I know that there was a cost share on this, so I believe we had an 80% cost share, and then Lower Savannah Council or Arts had a 20% cost share on this.
Thank you, sir.
Just only I want to say for the record, because we talked about it, 2 things. One came out of the public input session. The other one is we did, myself and our assistant city administrator did go talk to both First Baptist and Grace United Methodist Church. They were very glad that we were out dealing with the traffic circle, that piece of it. They had no issue with anything else at all. The phase 1, even the fact that because of their parking, they did not have a problem with some of the parking spaces they would be losing. And the other thing is, which I think we all were very pleased to hear, was an idea, but a suggestion that we look at putting a speed sign. What's the exact term called? Not a speed sign.
It's a driver feedback sign. It's the one where as you're driving, you get to see how fast you're going and test your speedometer.
So we've already processed that through SCDOT, and we're going to move that up about where, if you come down Georgia Avenue, almost right where West Forest is, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. I think Ricky might have a slide that shows this or a PDF. I don't know if that breaks it up too much. Ricky, if you can.
No, he doesn't have it. He said he doesn't have that. So, but council, y'all have that. So the point is, if you're going down Georgia Avenue, right where West Forest is, that's where it would be, which is going to get people slowing down.
Correct. Yeah, the driver feedback sign. It's an application to SCDOT for encroachment permit. Again, it has not been approved, but we've started the process to move it up the hill, right there at Forest by Lookaway Hall, and then where it is right now, as you guys have experienced by First Baptist Church, we're going to keep a static speed limit sign.
John?
Yes, that was my question, whether we're moving one that already existed, because that's a very valuable one. As you come down that hill, it's easy to speed. I never do. I'm always 1 mile under. But
We'll check the record.
having an
Share yours, John.
To me, having another one would be really good.
Yeah, I think the one at First Baptist that will remain will be static. It'll be just the actual speed limit sign. Won't be a driver feedback. And again, this all relates to SCDOT has a lot of rules and regulations that we have to follow, and rightfully so. And so, not having them that close together would be one of the things we're following.
The chance of people exceeding the speed limit is much greater at the West Forest intersection.
I would agree.
In front of First Baptist.
So, anyway, I just wanted to get that out there. The public input we all agreed was fantastic, and we got good insight. So, with that being said, if there's no other council discussion, I'm going to ask for a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Very good. Thank you. Item 8, engineering, resolution number 2025-17, authorizing the City of North Augusta to enter into a professional engineering services contract with Kimberly Horn for transportation engineering services. Might help if I get my sheets there. Excuse me. There it is. Messed up. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution? Okay, Ms. Carpenter, is there a second?
Second.
Anything you'd like to share about this, Mr. Clifford?
So, Mr. Mayor and Council, this was a request for qualifications, not a request for proposals that we put out. We had a broad panel from within the city staff, and we included Dr. Molnar from the Lower Savannah Council of Governments to participate as well. And came out with Kimberly Horn as the preferred firm for traffic engineering services. You know, the focus for them initially is really going to be the George Avenue traffic calming project, but this is an umbrella contract. So as we look at other traffic issues, Kimberly Horn can be the retainer firm, if you will, to be able to move forward on that. And so this strictly is picking them as the firm for this, and we're going to have some further discussions with them about scoping when it comes to the George Avenue traffic calming. And once we have that meeting, we'll be coming back to council for a potential resolution to fund at least the first part of that project from a planning perspective. But this is strictly just picking Kimberly Horn as the firm that's going to conduct traffic engineering services for the city of North Augusta for a set period of time.
Citizen comments, I'm sorry. Council discussion?
Mr. Clifford, I just want to clarify, just for public knowledge, does this still give us this isn't like set in stone, this gives us the availability to go back and edit components of the project itself, the first phase?
I think it depends on what the edits are. So I heard in kind of our public input forum, a good example is probably from Pam Stickler, the Wrecking Crew, talking about needing to have handicap access on there. I think that's probably an easier one to cook in and be able to add, cutouts or curb access for handicap patrons. I think that's the kind of change that very easily can be added in as an edit to the overall study. What would be a lot harder if you started changing like the width of the road or other kinds of major components associated with the traffic study itself, because again, that was staffed through SCDOT to get that approval for those major things. So I think we can work things on the margins based on citizen feedback, but I don't think we're going to have the ability, without having to go back to SCDOT, to get a whole new set of approvals if we start fundamentally changing the way the traffic study is.
Any other discussion? Here now, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor? Okay, that's 6 yeses and 1 no, right? Okay, you got that, Jamie? 6 yeses, 1 no. Okay. All right. Item 9, economic development resolution number 2025-18, establishing and agreeing to participate in the Lower Savannah Regional Home Consortium. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution? Ms. Freitas, thank you. Second? Ms. Carpenter, appreciate it. Anything you'd like to share about this, Mr. Clifford?
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Council. This is a longstanding relationship that the city of North Augusta has with the Lower Savannah Council of Governments. They have relationships with a number of municipalities and counties and we're one of them. And so ultimately, this is a renewal period for us for this relationship. I believe it's for 3 years, and ultimately, there's no fiscal requirement with being in the consortium and with the Lower Savannah Council of Governments. Sometimes there are opportunities to partner with the Lower Savannah Council of Governments regarding grant funding and those types of activities. We might have to do grant matches, but the actual base document, the arrangement between the Lower Savannah Council of Governments and the City of North Augusta is a no-cost item, and we would recommend as a staff that we maintain that relationship with that government unit.
Very good. All right. Any citizen comments? Council discussion. All right, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor? And that's unanimous. Very good, thank you. Item 10, engineering, resolution number 2025-19, authorizing the City of North Augusta to enter into a contract with Elite Fence Solutions to perform fence repairs to public stormwater detention facilities and wastewater pump station sites. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
All right, Mr. Buck, is there a second? All right, Mr. Freitas, thank you. Anybody like to share about this, Mr. Clifford?
So we had a brief discussion in the study session regarding the fact that we were opening bids on Thursday of last week, which we did. We had multiple bids. And so this vendor here was able to come in with the low bid. And so this is a request for proposals, not request for qualifications. And so what we're asking for is for this vendor to fix the broken fencing that's around the stormwater detention ponds. I believe we have 11. And then also some of the wastewater sites that also require fencing. And so they're going to go ahead and move out smartly if this is approved this evening. Again, we're trying to meet a FEMA timeline of the end of this month. Really, 1 July is the cutoff for outside FEMA aid. So as soon as this thing is approved, if approved by council, we're going to have them out there working this week, trying to get the fencing repairs done before we get to the end of the month.
Do we think they're going to repair just certain areas? I mean, it's not, they're not putting brand new fence everywhere. Just going to fix an area like the chain link piece that may be bent.
That's correct, Mr. Mayor. So you're going to have some sections of existing fence that are compromised based on the top rail being crushed by a tree, and then the requisite fencing material is damaged or compromised, and they'll replace those. But this is not a 100% refresh of all of these fences, because that's not what FEMA reimburses. FEMA will reimburse based on their views. They've already been here on the ground and looked at some of the damage here across the city, to include the fencing. And so they've done their own assessment and analysis. So if we come back and say, hey, we need every single fence repaired, that's not going to carry the water, and likely those requests would be denied. So we're going to be judicious about how we're applying this. So it's only for broken and compromised portions of fences.
Okay, very good. All right. Any citizen comments? No, we're on 10 now, which is engineering. So you're going to need to, Ms. Melton, you got to come down to the microphone. I'm sorry. Yeah. Take your time. We put railings in the middle. Huh? Oh, is your item on the administrative reports or engineering? Okay, that's going to be that'll be under item 12, where comments about something that's not on the agenda. No, ma'am. 10 is fences. Yeah, fences only. Well, yeah, we'll give you the opportunity on item 12. Okay. So what I'm asking for is citizen comments on engineering resolution 2025-19, which is just going into a contract with Elite Fence Solutions. Okay. Any council discussion? Yeah. All right, then I'm asking for a vote. All in favor? Okay, that's unanimous. Very good. Thank you. Okay, item 11 is administrative reports. So, Ms. Clifford, that's you have 2 that you want to give us.
We'll start off with utility billing. So we can go back to the first slide. There we go. Thank you. Next slide. So it's no changes on this one. Next slide. So the big update on this slide is the fact that the May 10th bills are scheduled to be mailed out by the end of this week, which is still a month behind. But we have a pretty good sense that based on the feedback that we have right now from the vendor, that those will be ready to go. And again, our finance department is doing a full audit of these bills and the programming to make sure that the bills are accurate. So they're still late, but the bills are at least accurate as they're going out. And so we feel pretty good about that, not about the late part, but the accuracy is good. Next slide. So we had a meeting last week with a number of senior management across both Fiserv, Clover, and GovSense, really trying to nail down the April 9th to 14th payments. Again, we have citizens that paid online that are not being reflected on their bills. We're trying to get that cleaned up right now. So as of Friday, the technicians at Fiserv and Clover believe they found a potential technical solution, so they have to sandbox it, put it through its paces, and make sure it actually will do what it says that they think they can do. And then we'll get an update from them at that point in time. But currently, we're on a weekly call with all three contractors, with myself, with Linda Williamson from the finance department, with a number of other folks here across the staff, because we're putting a lot of time and effort to make sure this gets addressed properly before we can move on. So just want to let you know we're spending time on that. And as citizens come across bills they feel like, hey, I paid, but it's not showing up here on my bill, as long as they can come in and show us their credit card statement or something to that effect, we can line up credit card numbers with the billing activity, and then we can give them credit in person if they want to do that in a sooner than later technique. Next slide. So again, we're still maintaining our centralized island number. This is not a long-standing number we have, but just like we stood up for Hurricane Helene response, that number there ending in 5717 is something we've had good luck with that number, and the feedback we're seeing both online and in person is that people are commenting that they're getting a response within 24 hours. We're publishing 3 days, but we're hitting about 24 hours or less right now on responses to calls for service regarding the utility billing. Next slide. So that's the utility update for tonight. Subject to questions, I'll go to Hurricane.
Good. Go on.
So I have some items that are on the slide and some items that are not on the slide. So I'll cover the slide items first, and then we'll go from there. So next slide. So I just wanted to show here, which is a new data point for you all in the council and for our citizens. If you look at the bottom of the slide, the cumulative total of how much has been backhauled out of the city. So essentially what happens is, the crews, city, or contractors collect loose tree debris or large tree parts, and you can see the enormous mounds that are on the Buena Vista site and the Country Club property. They get taken to those sites and they get inspected, and then they get dumped, and then eventually they get grinded into mulch, and then the mulch is backhauled. So we're sitting at, I don't know, about a little over 125,000 or about 125,000 cubic yards total of debris that's been brought into our sites, but you're not going to see 125,000 cubic yards of debris taken out because of the grinding operation that occurs. So there's a ratio somewhere between 3 to 4 to 1, so that you're going to see less total cubic yards getting backhauled out. But today we're sitting at 12,000 and change of cubic yards of material that's been backhauled. And so we had a meeting with the contractor today, and we're making sure that they're going to meet their timelines, because again, after 30 June, we're not going to get FEMA reimbursement. So I already told them, hey, they're not going to get paid after that date. So need to move it up. So they're going to continue to do what they're doing there. And again, you're going to see that they're going to have grinding operations and backhaul operations. And as we talked about last week, we did go through the demolition of the Mud Enfield Park structure. I do not have an update yet from the engineers or the assessors about the Beck Park overhang and the area there. Again, it looks like it's fine. It looks like you can just go right in there and do what you're going to do. But based on the initial engineering report we got with the State Guard, that is not a viable option based on the foundation slippage. And so we're still taking that off limits for our citizens until we can get a final engineering report that says, hey, either you can shore it up or it's totally fine, or hey, you got to take it down. But I don't have a way forward yet, but we have technical experts that are still looking at that. Next slide, please. So again, we're down to a race against time, if you will. We're trying to make sure we got the grinding operations done. So the things that are most on my mind when it comes to Hurricane Helene cleanup that we're under the gun for is to make sure that we have the grinding and the backhaul operations completed by the end of this month. Same thing with our tree contractor that's going through and just about finished now with the stormwater repair as far as the trees that are in stormwater basins and ditches. And then now that the council's approved the fencing repair, we're going to get them to work this week so we can get all that completed out. So we're going to be doing that. So hopefully by July 7th, when I'm doing my next update, I'm hoping to brief you all that we've accomplished those 3 main tasks on the timeline that we're advertising. Next slide. Today was the first day of yard waste pickup, so we'll see how this goes by the end of the week, and I'll let you know what feedback we get from public services. But for our citizens, this is the start. Today was the first day of standard yard pickup, and that is ongoing. Bags are encouraged, but not required. Next slide. So again, we have mostly green across the board. I'm likely going to green up the recreational facilities and city parks after the Creighton Park playground is reopened. I think we'll have the vast majority of our facilities there. I'm still going to leave the other item not greened, which is the repair to city facilities, because we have a number of city facilities, so Beck Park being one. I think we're still working on Fire Station 2. That we've got some outstanding work from an insurance perspective that's not under the same FEMA timelines. And so as those are starting to close, we'll green that out. So again, these are the slides you've been seeing since October of last year, but we're steadily marching through and getting good movement. Next slide. So before we go into questions, there was a couple things on here, 2 items. One is I attended on behalf of the mayor a meeting or a briefing by the South Carolina Office of Resiliency. They held that at American Legion Post 71. They had a lot of good information. We posted some of the cut sheets from that briefing onto the city's Facebook page, and we have had some initial dialogue with the SCORE chief of staff about basically coming back here to the city to do the same or similar presentation, but during a study session. So we're trying to hash out those dates now. I can tell you it would not be earlier than July 14th, but we gave them, or we're going to give them a series of dates to consider, and we'll try to get them here sooner rather than later so that at least we'll have a live stream of the event, and it'll be saved on YouTube so citizens can go back and see what the full presentation is, as opposed to the handful that came down in the American Legion Post on that day. So that was the first thing. And then the second thing is we'll go back and probably update the council in the next hurricane update. But I know one of the questions that's come up tonight has to do with Pretty Run Drive and an NRSC grant. So there's still damage that's out there across the lower portion of Pretty Run Drive. Upper portion, you saw I got taken care of an earlier stormwater grant. And there's still a fair amount of damage on the lower portion. The area that we're most concerned about, quite frankly, has to be over by the apartments off Martintown Road, the old Willowick apartments, and that have been since renamed. And so that creek there has sloughed off part of the parking lot and is got trees that are still down inside the waterway there. So within Pretty Run, that is the number one priority that we have. But there are other portions of Pretty Run that are also of concern, one of them being by the rapids. And so we had previously notified the council that we had received a just under $1 million NRSC grant, a federal agency. They had folks here on the ground and walked the ground with Tom Zeser and a number of other folks in our stormwater team. And so that grant is a zero match grant. So that's a $900 and some odd thousand grant that's to address some of the Pretty Run Drive or Pretty Run basin issues. So that will include things like removing some of the debris from the stormwater ditches, and it'll take care of some of the emergency actions associated with the parking lot over by the formerly known as Willowick apartment. So just want to let you know that that's still in movement, that we haven't seen any action on the ground as of yet, but some of these grants take longer than others to administer and to go through the full federal process to make sure things are going there. But just want to let you know those are 2 things we'll do. So as we do our next update in July, we'll have a better deep dive on some of those ongoing longer-term federal projects that are in support of the city.
Will you just reiterate, because we get asked, that we have reached out to AT&T and utility companies about the wires. So we're getting questions about that. They are fully aware of it. So anything you wanted to add to that?
I'm not sure they're fully aware. I mean, we've certainly made them aware of some of the issues around there. More coordination is better than less. I would love to be in a car with some of the AT&T or Comcast reps and just drive through Hammond Hills in particular. Although we have some other neighborhoods that have cables that are out there that are loose, but you can see it's kind of a mixture of situations. You've got some where you can see the wires have been pulled up and put in a temporary coil that's there on the pole. You can see others that are just loosely laying there, on the side of the road, and you got others that are entwined in other kinds of things. So we certainly want to get the issues, especially around sidewalks and the roadways, taken care of before we get to other aspects. But there is going to still be some issues associated with that. The good news is we're not racing the clock on FEMA to get those done, because that's really on the utility companies to get those removed.
Good, thank you.
Well, now, Jim, talking about that, the wires, a young man that lives directly across from Paul Knox Middle School, matter of fact, Mr. Roberts was talking to me before the meeting. He has no electricity and hadn't had any since Harleen, but said Dominion come out, but they said he'd have to get it up to the code standard. Do you know what? I wasn't sure what that meant, but he's living here in North Augusta with no power.
I went by his house and I talked to JD about it already. I said I went by his house and I talked to JD about it already.
Mr. Clifford, I also want to make sure on that list of wires, there's a wire hanging low at the entrance to Calhoun Park that you could actually touch from the ground. I think it's either a Comcast wire or an AT&T wire, but that thing has continued to sag, and you could actually touch it from the ground now.
We did have AT&T look at that particular wire, and you're right, that is a Comcast wire. I don't have a timeline of when they're going to come out there and address it, but we've already had AT&T look at it. So there's a number of wires that are still out there contention, but that's certainly on the list.
And one more thing, Jim. I noticed today on the corner of the Mackey property, Knobcon and Martin, everything's gone.
So those are SCDOT.
I mean, all the debris,
Yes.
the mulch. No, and I know I've asked this at the beginning of Hurricane Helene. Where did all that mulch go to?
So you have to go through a process with FEMA to do what they call a final disposition site, which usually tend to be landfills that can take that material. Not all landfills are eligible to take that material. And so the companies that we are contracted with, SDR or in SCDOT's prime contractor, get into a fiscal arrangement with various landfills, and then they take the mulch to that final site. But those debris removal techniques have to be monitored. So we have an outside firm. You have two sets of contractors doing the same kind of work, or at least similar type of work. So you have one contractor who's doing the hauling, and then you got a different contractor that goes out there and watches to make sure they don't just dump it in the Savannah River or somewhere else. So they go out there and make sure that what they advertise they're doing.
It looked amazing when you rode by and nothing, just the field again. So.
All right, anything else for the administrator? All right. Good report. Thank you. Okay. Number 12, presentation, communication, and recognition of visitors. At this time, citizens may speak to mayor and city council regarding matters not listed on the agenda. Speakers shall give their name and address for the record. So I hate to make you have to get back up again, but come on down, young lady. I'm giving you your exercise tonight. Come on down. So we put that railing in the middle there a couple of years ago, and I tell you, that's about the best investment we ever made in this city.
Maybe we ought to just share and just slide down it.
Yeah. You're good. You're good.
All right, I got two questions.
Just
I
speak
don't
in
know
the
where they
microphone.
fit, so I'm just going to
That's all
start
right.
with the easy one first. Okay. All right, I live at Sharon Melton. I live at 14 Brookview Court in the Rapids subdivision. And our property backs right up to Pretty Wayne Creek. And way before your time, since back in, I'd probably say around 214, 213, something like that. It was corrected between at 215, and then it started back up around 216, corrected finally for 218. It's now an issue again. The issue first, just to give you a little history, was there was a chicken factory, what I call a chicken factory, and it was disposing all the waste into Pretty Run Creek Basin and came on down into North Augusta. It was a horrible stench. Went all the way through Rapids, just about it, the first section, because all of the back section, of course, wasn't built by then. So the lift station is what I refer to it as, on the other side of I-20,
They spent at least $1 million. I used to work with Tanya Strickland. She was very, very responsive. And that went away. So then we had up-to-date Helene, and we started smelling the smell again. And everybody started talking on Brookview, where's the smell coming from? Well, Tanya and staff, before she retired, came out, and they found a couple between our house and True North Church, going up through the backwoods. Some of the sewer tops is the best way I can describe it, that were cracked, and some other things, and they repaired those, and the smell went away. Well, then here comes the smell again, and we're going, what in the world? Well, I know one thing that I want to speak on that I think it's coming from, but I did bring a picture of one of the sewer tops in our neighborhood that has yet to be repaired. And when we called, we were told that all of the sewer tops were repaired in the rapids, but they are not, because this was taken as of May 29th or 30th.
Okay.
And so it's definitely an E. coli bacterial environmental health hazard that we won't correct it. And not only just for an individual sake of a homeowner, but for the whole neighborhood and for the whole North Augusta, because I understand it. And as I remember correctly, Pretty Run Basin is the second largest one in Aiken County, or in North Augusta. I don't know which. And I've forgotten the first one.
I'm gonna let you give that picture to Jamie
Okie
when you
dokie.
when you finish.
All right. I've got it on my.
Go ahead.
And so then the second thing was, we attended, Tabitha that just stepped out, we attended the SCOR meeting. And it was very disappointing that more citizens didn't come. I'm sorry to say that they're not going to be, to hear that they're not going to be back until the mid-July. They told me the same thing, because they have to go up north of South Carolina and then come back down. But we're acting as volunteers. So there's $80 million to be spent between 6 counties. And Aiken County is one of those 6. One person said Edgefield was in the 6, but we heard later Edgefield is not. And I talked with Mr. Hickson, with Bill, and he said he's looking into that. Karen Hardison, I think I'm pronouncing her name correctly. I spoke with her today, and there's 3 components of SCOR, and she is on the watershed and the mitigation part. And I spoke with her personally about Pretty Run Creek, as it runs in back of our lot and home, as well as all of the Rapid subdivision and North Augusta. And I asked her if she would give you and Bill a phone call, and because she has access to other funds other than the ones that were mentioned earlier by the city administrator, to assess the damage, to repair the damage. And she was in agreement that access to that Pretty Run Creek up into the water, to the water and into the water, is not the homeowners. We don't own it. We're not responsible for it. And there's federal funds, several different federal organizations that are responsible for it from a mitigation standpoint.
Right.
So she's going to be getting in touch with him hopefully by this Friday, since he's over environmental. He asked me to contact her since I was at the meeting. So I'm hoping that will have a positive impact before the middle of July. So, because we need it. The smell's back. And I called Savannah River Waterkeepers. They had 1 test kit to bring out, and they didn't even bring it out, and they didn't return my phone call, so I just didn't waste any more time on them. But she's going to call them and see why they didn't come out. And there was like 2 other agencies on the federal level that she mentioned that she said could help the city.
Okay, very good.
So,
well, when we set that date, you'll definitely know about it, and you can be a big help, if you would, getting the word out so people will come to that.
well, I was going to ask you, and they said it's public information, but I wanted to ask you, just out of respect, for us to go ahead and get the slides out there, because we've already contacted the churches, we've already contacted the schools, we've already contacted DSS, and to get the people together, because the people need access to the $80 million. It's first come, first served basis. And there are people without homes or either without livable homes or people that have been, that rent. I'm personally not receiving any benefit from this, okay? This is just a volunteer thing we're doing. So to get the word out, because they're going all over the state. So I wanted to make sure my county was getting as much money as it could and as soon as it could.
Thank you. So yes, we've already put some of those out, like Jim said, if I'm not mistaken, but we will need your help to get the word out when we have that. 'Cause we're going to have them come here and have
Right.
tables set up.
And that'd be good.
But my understanding, Jim, you clarify, is it's not right now. I mean, they're still going through that process. It's not like they're not writing checks tomorrow. We're not behind
no.
the eight ball.
It will be over a 6-year process.
Yeah.
Everybody gets taken care of.
We'll get it. We're going to get it done.
But my point is,
We
when
need
they
that.
left North Augusta, they went to Aiken, and the people in Aiken made application that day. So we want our city residents that are in need, just like Pat takes care of the ones that are in need, around Christmas time or shelter or whatever. We want our citizens to get that need as soon as possible.
And that's why we're going to have the table here for people.
Well, we're doing it before then, Mayor Williams. It's what
I'm
I'm
talking
trying
about
to
as
say
far
to
as
you.
what we're going to do here at the city.
Yes, I mean, it's not a very simple program. It's separated into 3 sections. The section we're dealing with will be towards the individual themselves, and that's why we're dealing with the schools, the churches, and any other group that has access to the lower, because it is part of it is based on income.
Right.
Lower income
Exactly.
to middle income.
Okay. Very good.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Melton. Thank you
There was
very
one
much.
other thing I was going to ask you about. Now, I know what it was. Now, do you want Karen to come and speak to you?
When we get planned for that, Jim we'll reach out. We've talked to some of those folks already, Lowell, Copart. So yes, when we get to that point, Jim's already touched base with them. So we will have the right people here. Yes.
Well, now, Karen says she hasn't heard from us. That was the first time that she heard. So she went on the city website and she read to me what was on the city website. Now, Red, you probably spoke with him, and he was very nice. He was the director. And the city legal, the SCOR legal representative was there. But the person, Karen, was not at the meeting. So, and she's the one that would help us with Pretty Run Creek.
We had direct communications with the chief of staff of SCORE. So Karen is junior to chief of staff, so I'm not sure why she didn't get that communication, but we've communicated with the agency.
She said she hasn't. That's all I'm telling you. I spoke with her this afternoon.
She will.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Now, you want me just to message this picture, or?
Can you just hand it to her? Oh, sorry. Yeah, just send it to her. Yeah, I thought she had like a hard copy. I'm sorry. All right, thank you. Any other citizen comments that would like to say anything?
Does the city have the availability to go out there and check the water for E. coli or whatever?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand you.
Does the city have the availability to go out there and check Pretty Run Creek to see what the source of the smell could be? Like, could they test the water for E. coli, et cetera?
Well, now that we know that, Jim will make sure James and his team do something on that.
Well, let me tell you.
Am I correct?
Like Sharon said, that is not a all of a sudden problem. It was a chicken farm, and I want to say in Saluda, that's come all the way down to Old North Augusta, and that has been going on 20 years. Yeah. So it was a chicken farm, and it's still I don't know. I'm not going to say the name because I don't want that public, but it was a chicken farm, and the smell on Austin Grable was horrible.
Well,
So that, but I know.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Sharon let us know that.
Yeah.
Now we can get our folks.
Right.
That was good.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, I had one update here. I actually dropped a note to Tommy Paradise, and he was kind enough to respond quickly regarding Councilman Briago's question about the cost of the study. The total cost of the study was $70,000. The city's percentage was actually 20%, not 80%. So the cost of the city was $14,000.
Thank you.
All right. We're still on item 12. Anybody else, citizen comments? Okay. I've got one thing I'm going to have Ricky do in just a minute. I'll tell you about a new initiative we're going to start, but any comment, anything from the good of the order? All good? All right, so you're going to see about a 4 to 5 minute video, and this is going to be a new initiative. We talked a little bit about it. I mentioned it in the Post and Courier when we talked about goals, but we are going to, I call it, it's a communication initiative, but also I think a tourism initiative. So if we can play it, then. Hey, I'm Mayor Britton Williams. Join me as we explore everything North Augusta. We'll talk state of the city. We'll highlight our vibrant events and areas of the community, showcase our hidden gems, and promote the buzz on our local businesses and citizens. We will share and learn together about our amazing town and everything that makes us South Carolina's riverfront. Let's get started.
Down by the river where the stories unfold. Come explore, see what you'll find.
Hey everybody, I'm Mayor Britton Williams. I'm excited to share a new initiative. It's both a communication initiative, but also a tourism initiative. We're hoping to roll this out probably the end of June. And to help me share this information with you for the next few minutes is our own Jen Goldman. Jen is a part of our tourism team. And to give you a little perspective, Jen is the one who put together our entire Explore North Augusta website. She does our drone footage. If it is a social media piece that comes from Explore North Augusta, she has her hands all over it. And she has been a huge help in assisting me as we have begun to go down this path of putting this new initiative in place. So with that being said, we have just officially recorded the very first ever city podcast. Jen, what's your thoughts, girl?
I'm excited. It's going to be good. It's going to be really good. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yes, we do. We do. And this was Jen's idea, what I'm about to tell you. Most podcasts are recorded in a studio. And Jen, her recommendation was, we have so much to offer in this community. Let's do them as much as we can on location, on site of what our topic is. So tell a little bit about your thinking with that.
So most podcasts are, produced in a studio, but we have so much like history and parks and things to see that I thought, if we're going to promote it, let's embed ourselves into it. So let's showcase what we have and be on site when we do it.
Okay. Now, and this is what I want to tell you more about. So this is a podcast. So if you're listening to us, you won't be able to see all of the live footage and the pics that she's going to include in the YouTube version. But tell a little bit about, for folks, talk about the two different mediums. And when we do go live, where exactly will they be picking up the idea of the podcast, the YouTube, and all that?
Yeah, so we're going to do little snippets to kind of promote it on Facebook, Instagram. We'll probably put a few on TikTok, just on the social media platforms. But overall, we're going to be hopefully on Apple and Spotify podcasts. That'll kind of be the main areas. It might go to a few different ones, not 100% sure on that yet. But then also the point of the video is to put it on YouTube as well. So we want to get as much exposure as we can.
Okay, we're going to give people a lot of different choices.
Yeah, exactly. Different avenues. Everybody uses different things, so that way we kind of cover all bases.
I like that. That's great. So the thought I had in my brain was this really was going to initially relate best to a certain age demographic. I'm thinking my kids, late 20s, early 30s. And I've done a couple group presentations about the city. And I've had a diverse group of all ages in these two groups. And I've just took a kind of random survey, and I asked folks, how many people here listen to a podcast? And quite frankly, I was very shocked the number of senior citizens that listen to podcasts, 60s, 50s, 40s, 30s. So, Jen, I really think we're going to, when it's all said and done, I believe we're going to have a cross-sectional of all ages of citizens who at some form or fashion is going to pick up on some part of this.
That's right. We're going to reach a wide spectrum of it.
Okay.
It'll be good.
The other thing we talked about was the length. And, the thought is, well, the podcast, you listen to it as you're going to work and you can finish it on your way home. But at the same time, depending on how far you have to drive, that probably isn't feasible. So as we talked more about it, I think what we realized was we feel like we're going to have such great speakers and great content that we're going to let these go as long as they need to go.
Exactly. Everything we're talking about and trying to promote, it has such rich history and different things about it that you can't just put a time limit on it. You need to fully expose it.
Sure. Okay. We're going to do that. The other thing is we're going to start off one episode a month.
That's right.
Doesn't mean that we can't, depending on how this goes, doesn't mean that we can't do more of those more frequently, but we'd rather start at one a month than try and do too many at one time and not been able to continue. So the real heavy lifting is right here with the editing and everything. So we got a lot of other stuff she does with responsibility. We've added one more there. So let me ask you this. Do we want to maybe, as we end up this little promo here, do we want to give a little sneak peek of what our first episode title is?
Yes, of course. Absolutely.
Cheryl, what have we decided we're going to call it?
We're going to start with the heart of the Greenway. We're really going to dive into one of the biggest treasures of North Augusta and show you what it's all about and kind of how it got started.
Yes, and let me tell you what we're going to do. We have, as you know, the Greenway was named after former Mayor Tom Green, who passed away several years ago. And we're really fortunate because his oldest son, Thomas, is going to be on the podcast.
He's been great.
But he has recorded a lot of information about conversations he and his dad had. He's very knowledgeable. So the perspective Thomas is going to give is a part that probably most of us have never really had a chance to understand is how did Tom Green, the mayor, look at this, his vision, how this came about. And then we also have Bob Brooks, who was the Parks and Rec director during that whole time. And he really had his footprint or handprint on every aspect of all the different segments of the Greenway. So he's going to give us some amazing information. Jen has found some incredible footage and pictures that are going to be pretty vintage about the Greenway. People will like. And the last guest is going to be Mike McCauley, who is going to talk about the frogs. I'm not going to tell you what that is if you don't know, but he's going to tell you about that. So I think you're going to be like us at the end of the day. As much as I thought I knew about the Greenway, I didn't know half as much as I learned. So again, that will be the heart of the Greenway, and that we hope to have that shared sometime near the end of June. So with that being said, Jen, looking forward to moving forward with this.
Absolutely.
And as they say in Hollywood, that's a wrap. And we just ask that you come and join us, and together, let's go explore everything North Augusta. Take care.
Down by the river where the stories unfold, North Augusta's got a heart of gold, a hidden gem, one of a kind. Come explore, see what you'll find. Catch a ball game, hear the cheer. Events held throughout the year. Take a stroll where the Greenway lies. Feel the history, let it shine. Or don't just visit, come and stay. Feel the magic every day. From river views to golden hues, North Augusta welcomes you. So come on down, take a ride. Let the river be your guide. South Carolina, shining bright. North Augusta feels just right. explore North Augusta.
We've already recorded 4 of them actually, and the first 4 are amazing. I'm telling you. And on all of them, we've had several different people. You're going to know all these people because they're locals, and the information is so rich. I'm telling you. So, again, we're going. You don't know until you throw yourself out there. So we're going to give it a whirl. But anyway,
Who wrote that song?
Yeah, who wrote the
Well, they did phenomenal.
you
job.
are not going to believe this.
I may not. I don't know.
AI.
Really? Wow. Technology. Good job, AI.
AI can do that. Jen gave the words. Then AI does the whole different. I mean, she did like 8 different renditions. She did country one, different ones. That's the one we.
But
thought.
she wrote it herself. Jen did?
She prompts it.
I
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, I think it's going to be just a great way to get more information out for citizens, and we'll have citizens. This will all be citizens. They'll be involved in it. So anyway, I just want to let you know about that as we start she'll promote this next couple months and couple weeks, and hopefully we'll do it by near the end of June. So we're going to end on a positive note. How's that? All right. Thanks for being here. We stand adjourned.